we need to talk about Parkinson's law. He says that work expands to the time envelope allowed. In other words, the duration of tasks tend to expand to the total amount of time you have to do them. If you give yourself 7 days to get something done, it tends to take 7 days. If you give yourself 30 days, it tends to take, well, 30 days. Now, Nelson Nash took this a little further, and he also pointed out that this applies to other areas of your life too. He uses the example of air conditioning in your car. That wasn't always a thing, but once you have air conditioning in your car, it's pretty hard to go back to a car without air conditioning. Nelson Nash also applied this to your cash flow situation. He said that your expenses tend to rise to the level of your income. You might have heard this referred to as lifestyle creep. Maybe you buy a nicer brand of coffee and don't want to downgrade to your previous brand. Maybe you buy a new truck and you sure like all the features in that vehicle, even though it's got a hefty monthly payment associated with it because you're financing it through an auto finance company or a bank. The problem isn't the coffee or the truck per se, it's that you've instantly consumed your cash flow. Let's say you are netting $200 a month. Well, if you're still netting $200 a month, even though you just got a $1,500 a month raise, well, that could be a problem. In other words, it prevents you from making long-term striving towards your goals. This is something you have to be aware of, and it's something you have to train yourself to actively fight against. If you don't, it can ruin your household finances. It could ruin your business finances. To quote Nelson Nash in his book, he says, "If you cannot do so, then you are destined to become a slave." That's the bad news. The good news is, if you can whip Parkinson's law, you win by default, because others can't do it. And after all, everything you do in the financial world is compared to what other people are doing. So small changes you can make can have an enormous impact over time.